to the House. Thank you.
Dr. Rajim Prasad.
Mr. Speaker, I think for the last member, that was quite an arrogant statement, really, that we've just going to spend 2 hours doing nothing. The government members have been sitting here since this bill was introduced, and they are the ones, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, who have treated this House with contempt. Absolute contempt. Reasonable questions have been asked. They haven't been able to see through a very simple bill and actually ask the kinds of questions that one would logically ask, because there is an opportunity to ask them. In fact, what those members from government members have expected was to come to the House with a proposal and for us to simply rubber stamp it, only because they say so. Not that we have a right to ask questions, not that we have a right to have those questions answered. And in fact, government members have simply taken meaningless calls for a few seconds. One call with barely two sentences. That's absolute contempt, Mr. Bridges. And if he felt strongly about anything, the member would get up and take a call and make the points that the member wants to make, because there are no points to make. No points to make. The census is an important activity, and we should take it seriously. We should take the opportunity of every clause on every bill that comes here to look through it, to look beyond it, to ask questions around it, and we expect to have them answered. Those things become even more important when there is no select committee process. But no, the members opposite simply thought that this would be a simple process, through urgency, ram it through, and we're supposed to sit here like I don't know what, and just simply say to them, it's the minister who sat in the chair and began to simply treat us with contempt. Not us. Well, I'm normally very nice to you, Minister, but on this occasion, you either did not have the answers or you refused to give them to us. There have been very sensible questions put, both by Charles Cheval this evening. Very sensible questions, and they have not been answered. But I'll tell you this, Mr. Speaker, the heart of contempt was this. Maurice Williamson knew the reason for the second part of this bill. The minister knew the reason, and it would have been reasonable to say to the House, we have an issue, there is delegation not there, a person is going overseas, we need to have that put in place. But that had to be dragged out of him by Charles Cheval through questions. And the minister defended himself by saying, but it wasn't my notes. That should have been in the first reading speech. And that should have happened. It did not happen. So really, Mr. Speaker, we're not happy with the process that's gone through, and we blame the other side. They're responsible for the process, and they should have run this thing far better than they did. And all that they wanted to say to us was that they were disappointed, that we were asking questions. And no, well, it was stronger than that, Mr. Powers, and if you're here, Mr. Powers has been here most of the evening, and you know the member knows the kinds of questions I'm posing. So really, the contempt is on from the other side. They have not really done their job on this particular bill. Leanne Dalzien and Charles Cheval have asked very reasonable questions. They should have been answered. But the biggest disappointment is this: the opportunity to think through what a census would look like in the modern world and have a select committee process that would have given them the answers. But no, it's contemptuous not to take that opportunity, and it's even more, and it's objectionable, highly objectionable, when members stand up and say it's this side that's doing the kinds of things it's doing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I call Rauhui Kātani.